Visiting Rotarians.
Today we have Robert Broom from Lake Hickory.
Welcome, Robert. That's it. We also have a visiting Rotarian. Billy Black is back, a district governor. Billy Black.
I was asked if you all had misbehaved, but I understand you're continuing to strive forward. So thank you so much for all you do for the people in our district.
Thank you. Thanks for coming. Any guests today? Start over here. Any guests this side of the room? No guests? How about in the middle? Any guests over here? No guests. Okay. Announcements. Jeff Butler, how are we doing with the bell ringing? I hear we still have some out. We have a guest. Okay, sorry. Welcome. Thank you for coming. Jeff.
Appreciate everyone again that signed up so far. We had a great week last week. We have only 2 openings left for tomorrow, 2 to 3 and 3 to 4 at Walmart Retail. So if everyone just take a look at their schedules and see how things look, we'd love to have you out there. And again, appreciate everyone that's helped out so far. But Steve Aaron from Salvation Army, he said last week when they picked up at 3 o'clock the buckets, had a wonderful turnout for that, and then when he picked back up at 9, so he thought everything went very well for us last week.
Jeff, thanks for what you're doing too. Terrific job. The red buckets on our table, that's for the Salvation Army, and we've only got this week and next week to support them. Linda Lutz and the membership committee's meeting right after this meeting for a few minutes. Linda's got some, and Anthony, they've got some people they want to propose for membership, which goes along with our program today. Jennifer Clark, great social last week. Everyone who went had a great time. Thank you. And who? Tara. Yeah, Tara, thank you both. Great time. Mitzi, you've got an announcement you want to make on. There she is.
I have $1 for the bucket, but just to let you know, I think these are the last tickets for tomorrow's night's fundraiser for Habitat for Humanity. We're doing It's a Wonderful Life, the original Jimmy Stewart movie. We'll have some games and some giveaways and some prizes. Tickets are $30. If you'd like to buy some, let me know. I've got them today. Thanks. 45 at the door, so it's a sale today. It's almost half off.
Susan Walker has an announcement also.
Good afternoon, fellow Rotarians. I just wanted to invite you to tonight's interfaith program on Human Rights Day. You have flyers on your table. This is the Catawba Valley Interfaith Council. We're new. You may have read the story Saturday in the Hickory Daily Record. Cliff Moon back in the back. He is with the council. Also Carla Wogan, who was a Rotarian here with us. And this program tonight at Temple Beth Shalom, it's free, it's open to the public, and it's about the Universal Declaration of Human Rights that was passed in 1948 by the United Nations. Every human being that's born on earth has 30 inalienable rights, and a lot of people just don't know what they are, so we'll be sharing what the Universal Declaration of Human Rights is. There'll be sacred readings from Christianity, Judaism, Islam, Unitarian, and some other faith groups as well. So these are different faith leaders who come together to try to build bridges of peace in the community. So if you'd like to come, it's tonight at 7 o'clock at Temple Beth Shalom on North Center Street. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. And David.
Got a dollar in. A few weeks ago, Ryan Odom was here from Lenore Ryan, the basketball coach, and he's doing a lot of great things with Lenore Ryan men's basketball. And he mentioned the 6-man club, but he did not bring any paperwork on it, any flyers about it, and I brought some and put them over on the table there. Jeff's holding them up. So I'd urge you to join that 6-man club. If any of you were fortunate enough to be in the gym last week, they played Lincoln Memorial. Lincoln Memorial's won like 3 straight conference championships, ranked in the country. 16th or 17th in the country. And Lenore was down 20 in the second half and came back and actually went ahead in the game. Lincoln had to make a three-pointer at the buzzer to even get into overtime. It went 4 overtimes. And probably the greatest game ever played in Schubert Gym, if not certainly one of the greatest games ever played in Schubert Gymnasium. So unfortunately they lost, they hit a 3 to go up with 30 seconds to go, and Lincoln scored at the end of the game, 3 seconds to go to win, 123 to 122. So incredible game. They're doing incredible things with the program, but they need our help. Lincoln, who's the gold standard, has a budget of $150,000 for basketball. Lenore Ryan is less than 50. So you see what we're looking at. So join that, and you'll get some inside scoop on what's going on to really help out the Bears. Thanks.
Thank you. John Rambo, Sunshine Moment. Got your money.
Well, that's a lot of enthusiasm.
More than usual.
Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is John Rambo, and I am a Rotarian.
Hey, John.
Thank you. We have many birthdays to celebrate, both presently and retroactively, since we haven't had a meeting since before Thanksgiving. November 23rd was Frank Young's birthday. November 24th saw the nativity of Linda Lutz and Jerry Wilfong. November 29th, Craig Sanders. December 1st, Big John Olson. December 5th, Wallace Johnson and Rusty Roberts. December 7th, Susan Saylor. And coming up tomorrow, Saturday, December 12th, Ron Gardner. So big hand for our birthday folks. I did get a report on health of the club from Cliff Moon earlier that Joe Britt went in for a heart stent and wound up having to have open heart surgery. They're moving him to, he's at Fry, they're moving him to a room this afternoon. He'll be in room 273. Is that correct, Cliff?
Yeah, he came through real well.
Okay. Thank you. So please go visit Joe. They say laughter is the best medicine, so I hope that you'll give me some. A Rotary visitor to Japan told a joke lasting 2 minutes. The interpreter then translated using only a few words, and everyone laughed. Afterwards, the visitor asked the interpreter how he had translated such a long joke so quickly. The translator replied, "Well, I didn't think they would get the point, so I said, 'Our guest has just told a joke. Everyone please laugh.'" Now, a woman named Mary went to see her insurance agent, was discussing the various aspects and possible outcomes of an insurance policy that she was looking to purchase. And during the discussion, she asked, "Suppose I take the life insurance for my husband today and put it for $1 million, and tomorrow he dies. What will I get?" The agent eyed her suspiciously and replied, "Probably a life sentence." So, it's a gorgeous day. Enjoy it. Thank you very much.
Anthony Laxton's going to introduce our speaker.
Excuse me, I'm kind of a little sick, so my apologies on that. But privileged to introduce Tiffany Irvin, phenomenal lady. She's a self-proclaimed sportista. Huge fan of the LR Bears. Not really, actually just the USC Gamecocks. She also is a fashion diva, owns her own upscale ladies consignment store, which is actually pretty amazing. She's been in radio, TV for about probably 20 years in the public images. She's also very involved with the community, being on the board with the Chamber of Commerce in Hendersonville, is that correct? As well as the United Way Cabinet, and of course the Rotary Club of the Four Seasons. With great honor, Tiffany Irvin.
Nice to have such youthful members. He's talking about me working in media and PR for 20 years, and I'm thinking, he's probably not that old, is he? But thank you, it's great to have you here, and you did a great job with the introduction. I look forward to great things with you in Rotary. Thank you all so much for having me here, and I'm especially honored to have my personal driver who's looking at something on her phone. She's getting ready to take a picture, I'm sure. But Governor Billy Black and I are having a lot of fun traveling around both our district and other districts, and I love it when, now that she's finished her official visits to all of our clubs, I can call her and say, hey, I'm traveling to Lake Norman, Huntersville at 7 a.m. on Thursday morning. You want to go? And so we have a lot of fun driving around together. We've done a lot of club visits, and it's always fun to visit here, the clubs in our district especially, because we get energized and excited and enthused when we see you guys getting excited about things, and little things like supporting your local athletics organization at LR. That's amazing. That's fabulous. Raising money for Salvation Army and ringing. I'll be ringing in Hendersonville tomorrow night from 6 to 7:30. If any of you are passing through, I'll be at the Fresh Market out there singing and dancing and having a good old time. So you've seen my bio on your bulletin. It's a very nice printed bulletin and email that you guys do. I'm sorry if you got bored a third of the way through it. Don't worry, you haven't missed anything. But I am really excited to share with you what Miss America and college football and Rotary have in common. And I know you're reading that thinking, there is no way she's going to tie all of those together. But I promise I will. But I thought that as I serve as the membership chair for our district, I travel around and speak to a lot of the clubs. I've been to probably, I don't know, maybe 25 of the 50 so far. And really enjoy hearing your stories about membership and growth, and I know your club is excited about that as well. But I thought that for you to know where I am today, the self-proclaimed Rotary Geek that I am, I thought it might be helpful for you to know where I came from. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself first. There's really 3 things that I believe have influenced me and turned me into the Rotary Geek that I am today. And the first one is, I'm the daughter of a retired minister. So I'm what they affectionately call a PK. See, when you guys all know that, that worries me. I think that you've heard those stereotypes and you've heard those stories of all of us. But the truth is, it's a great thing to grow up as a PK because you learn morals and values from your family, and you have all these adoptive grandparents, and you get great Sunday lunches, and you have a free house to live in. But people do expect a lot of you, and they're always watching you. It's almost like living in a glass house or in a fishbowl because people really expect you to be perfect. And I wasn't then, and I'm certainly not now, but I certainly feel like I was blessed to be a preacher's kid. My daddy is a wonderful man with a big heart, and I think I learned a lot of the service aspect of my life from him. But growing up a preacher's kid, you learn a lot of really valuable lessons. And I can tell you that I don't know how many of you grew up in church league softball or church league basketball. We were always in small churches, so we always had that. And my brother and sister, who were 10 and 12 years older than me, always played the sports with my parents. But I was so little, I just kind of played in the dirt most of the time. But I can remember showing up for a softball game one night, and we were late getting there because my dad had somewhere else he had to be beforehand. And so when we got there, the game had already started. We walk up to the dugout, and my dad says, "Hey, Dennis, how we doing?" And Dennis says, "Preacher, we're down 16-0. My daddy says, "Oh, it's going to be a long night, isn't it?" Dennis says, "Preacher, don't worry, it's all right. We hadn't batted yet." And so I can remember my entire life, if something bad was going on in my life, my daddy would say, "It's okay, baby, don't worry. You just hadn't batted yet. It's going to be all right." And that's a really valuable lesson to learn as you're growing up. And so I feel like I got part of my heart for service from my daddy and all of that he taught me growing up. The second thing, though, that influenced me growing up was I was also a pageant girl. Now, I know some of you have heard those stereotypes too, and I've listened to those stories my entire life. I started competing in the Miss America organization about the age of 14, 15, and really grew up in that organization. But I've heard those stereotype stories. The one about the young girl in Interview, she was asked, "What is your opinion of euthanasia?" And she said, "I believe they should have the same rights as youth in America." And so I've heard all those stories. You can't hurt my feelings. But the reality is, it was really a blessing to me growing up as a pageant girl because I really gained a lot of skills and talents and a heart for service again. The Miss America organization, although I was eating a lot of boiled eggs and baked potatoes and dry toast, I was staying physically fit, I was working out, I was developing my public speaking skills and my interviewing skills and my talent. And in fact, the little trivia, buff here for you if you're interested in trivia information. I won talent in the Miss South Carolina pageant playing dueling banjos on the flute. Yeah, it's pretty impressive. Thank you. There's a video on YouTube if you want to see it. You can just Google that and find it. But it was a great opportunity. I earned scholarship money to pay for my college education, and I really got involved as a community service volunteer because that's a requirement of the Miss America organization. So the Rotary Geek that I am today probably started way back then. But the third thing that influenced me growing up is that I'm a huge sports fan. And that's why I call myself a sportista, half sports fan, half fashionista. I'm a little bit of both. But it used to be a lot more fun to talk about being a Gamecock fan than it is right now. This year has been really challenging for us. But I am a huge sports fan, and I grew up watching sports with my daddy. I got to watch Cubs baseball with my Uncle Tillman and Gamecock football with my daddy. And really, as I got older and I was a broadcasting major in college, eventually I became a sideline reporter. And I worked for 4 years doing high school and college sports. I don't do it anymore. I'm a little old to be standing on the sidelines in 4-inch heels for 12 hours on a Friday afternoon, but I still volunteer once a year. In fact, I don't know if any of your kids from this area, next weekend is the Shrine Bowl of the Carolinas that's held at Wofford College in Spartanburg. It's the best of the best high school players, North Carolina versus South Carolina, and I'll be working the sidelines for that game for ESPN next weekend, so that's kind of fun. I get to stay in it. But I literally got into the game when I was working. No, I mean literally. If you like to watch fun videos on YouTube, I encourage you, in the search bar on YouTube, just put in there, Tiffany Irvin hit by player. Yeah, it's fun. But I jump right back up. The pageant girl in me comes to life, and 20 seconds left in the game, and I'm up and out. I'm back out there interviewing the winning coach. But it was a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed my time as a sideline reporter and getting to meet coaches and athletes and parents and visiting some amazing places throughout the years. But as an adult, I've become this Rotary geek. And I love Rotary. I believe that Rotary's not just in me, but I'm not just in Rotary, but now Rotary is in me too. And that's taken a little while. And for some people, it doesn't happen automatically. But here's the reason why I say that is because I look at Rotary a little bit differently than most people. You see, I don't believe that everybody deserves to be in Rotary. Now let me explain that. I started thinking about what Miss America and college football actually have in common with Rotary, and I decided that in college football, every fall, every Monday, at least 2 national polls tell us who are in the top 10, right? We know it's never South Carolina. And it would have to be that orange team in South Carolina this year. That's made it even more challenging for us as Gamecock fans. But every September, at least 8 million people tune in to the Miss America pageant on television to find out who makes the top 10. So I started thinking, why doesn't Rotary have a top 10? Now you could take that any number of ways. You could say the top 10 donors to the Rotary Foundation, the top 10 people who sponsor people, the top 10 people who do any number of things in your club. But I believe we should look for the top 10 people in our community who deserve to be Rotarians. And that's who you invite. Because you see, Rotarians are different. We are here because we have a heart for service. There's a woman in Hendersonville who was a member of a Fort Lauderdale club and then transferred when she moved to Hendersonville. And she visited the Noon Club, and then she visited my club, and she said to me, Tiffany, please don't be upset with me, but I'm going to join that other club instead. I said, I'm not going to be upset that you're joining the Noon Club. I'm just glad you're staying in Rotary. I said, but do you mind if I ask you why? Because I want to know if my club did something wrong or if there's something that's turning off potential members. We want to know that, right? So it's important that we ask. And she said, no, not at all. It's just that I have more opportunities to network in that larger club. I said, you joined the right club. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to network, join the Chamber of Commerce. We are a service organization. Networking is not a bad word, and it's a great byproduct of being here. But Rotary International is a service organization made of business-minded people. And I don't know about you, but that makes me really proud because that sets us apart from every other organization in the world. We're a service organization made of business-minded people. And the people who deserve to be here are the people who have a heart for service. So I want you to think about, maybe as a board, as a membership committee, as a club, as an individual. Who are the top 10 people that you know in this community that have a heart for service and deserve to be Rotarians? And then I want you to invite them. Don't invite them to lunch. Invite them to join leaders, to take action, to engage, right? Those are the things that we're doing now. If you talk about public image in Rotary, those are the things that they forget that we're involved in, not just service. Service is, of course, important. Networking is important. Taking action, engaging, leadership, building the future leaders of this country and of this world. Those are the things that Rotary is doing. I don't know about you, but I'm kind of grateful for that. I think that that's what sets us apart. So think about those people and invite them. I was speaking to a club in our district, which will remain nameless, about a year ago. It was a huge room like this, and lots of visitors and lots of guests that day. And you guys know, except you're doing the kettles right now, with the blue buckets for cart, right? That's one of the things that our district is really involved in. And my mother has Alzheimer's, so it's really, really important to me that we support CART. For her 75th birthday this year, I asked everybody to bring me 75 cents and throw it in the CART bucket instead of giving her a gift. And we raised almost $400 that day from people just who understood that she didn't need another present, right? So it's important to me. So when I was at this club, and they do like all of our clubs do, in the first of this, they stand up, they pray, they pledge, they sing, right? And when they sit down, people shake those buckets. And they make so much noise with all that change in there. They sound so great. Warms my heart. I love it. And all these guests were there. And so when I got up to speak, I was talking about being in Rotary, and there were several guests there, and I went up to one of them and I said, Bob, what are you thinking about the meeting so far? He said, this is great. I'm getting to see old friends. I'm seeing new friends. I said, how come you've never visited or joined before? He said, nobody's ever asked. Remember that. And I said, can I ask you a question? He said, sure. I said, what was all that shaking of that money in those buckets a little while ago? He goes, I have no idea. We're the world's best kept secret. Don't you think if we told every week, every person that was in this room, we are going to find a cure for Alzheimer's? Who wouldn't want to join this organization, right? If we said every week, we are this close, now we're this close to eradicating polio from this planet, who wouldn't want to be a part of this organization? And in every club, it might be different. Maybe it's because you're packing backpacks for kids so they're not hungry on the weekend. Maybe you're putting a dictionary in the hand of every third grader. Maybe you're ringing the bell for Salvation Army, or you're reading to children, or you're providing food for homeless kids. Whatever it is that you do that makes your club relevant in this community, don't you think if you had visitors sitting at these tables with you that they would be impressed by that? Maybe it's that you're giving scholarships, that you're giving kids an education, or that you're building a well in a third world country so that people have clean water and they sustain their own economy. Wouldn't people be impressed by that and want to be a part of this organization? We are our world's best kept secret. And we have to change that. It's up to us. 1.2 million people around the world are Rotarians. And yes, we want to grow. We want to get to 1.3 million. We haven't done it. We've been trying for years. But it's not about the numbers, folks. I don't know if that sign is up there. It's about being a bigger gift to the world. Because with 1.2 million people, look at all that we're accomplishing. But just imagine if we were 1.3 million people, what more we could do. That makes me really proud to be a Rotarian. I was speaking at a club in Alaska in September, and big room like this, and they go around at the beginning with their happy dollars, and they fine you if you're not wearing your Rotary pin. You know, some of the clubs still do that. They walk around there with, instead of a bucket or a basket, they have this big, huge fur hat that has a Rotary cog on the front of it. And I even said to one of the guys, hey, can I have my picture made in that hat afterwards? Because that is so cool. He goes, you do not want that hat anywhere near your head, trust me. So I was grateful that he told me that. But so they go around the room and they say, raise your hand if you're wearing your Rotary pin today. And I looked out, 75% of the room all had their hands up. It was beautiful. So when I got up to speak, I was thanking them for that. And I said, guys, let me ask you a question. Raise your hand again if you're wearing your Rotary pin today. All these hands go up. And I said, now keep it up if you wear your pin every day. And all these hands started coming down. Why not? Aren't you a Rotarian every single day? I know, guys, it's easy for you. You put it on a jacket or a tie pin and you got it. Listen, if I can put on 4-inch heels every day, I can put on a Rotary pin, right? Because it's not that much more difficult. But you know what? I wear it every day for a reason. Because I'm proud of it. and because I want people to know that I'm in Rotary, because they might ask me. He was mentioning earlier, I own a ladies' clothing store, and so I was helping a lady shopping in my store one day, and her husband was sitting patiently waiting while she was shopping, and when she got ready to check out, he walked up and handed me the credit card, and he saw my Rotary pin on my jacket, and he goes, "Oh, you're in Rotary." Yes, I am. He goes, "Oh, so you have lunch with all those old men every Tuesday downtown?" I said, "Well, first of all, I'm in the Breakfast Club, so I don't have lunch. But secondly, it's not your grandpa's Rotary Club anymore." And that's not a bad thing, folks. I'm not saying that Rotary is bad the way it is or that it needs to be improved. I'm just saying that we need to be relevant to our society. And what works in Hendersonville may not work in Hickory. And what works in Franklin may not work in Vermont. We have to do what's pertinent and relevant and flexible and creative and innovative right here in our own communities in order to survive. And you guys know what that is. You know what's needed in your community. And you know the people who make things happen here. You know the people who have a heart for service. The question is, when are you going to invite them? Invite them to come and learn more, and make sure that your presidents and your service chairs are bragging every single week about the things that you're doing so that they hear it. Invite them to come and learn more and be a part of this organization. And then after they've been here, here's what I suggest you do. You thank them. It's called follow-up, right? We do it in our business, but do we do it in Rotary as often as we should? Now, I don't mean that you go back out to your car and you sit at your phone and you send them a text and you say, "Thanks so much for being here at lunch today. Hope to see you next week." And I don't mean you get back to your office and you send them an email. I mean, you go to this place called the post office and you buy this thing called a stamp and you handwrite a thank you note and you send it to them, because I don't know about y'all, but don't you love to get something in the mail other than bills? Every once in a while, it's nice, isn't it? That's why this time of year is so much fun. You get Christmas cards and you get pictures from people of their families and you get things other than bills, and it's nice. So I encourage you to write a thank you note. Thank them for being here and for learning more about your organization, and encourage them to come back. See, I grew up in the South, so my mama taught me to write thank you notes, right? I mean, there's a reason there's no magazine called Northern Living, right? Well, y'all are slow today, I tell you. So just keep in mind that you want to thank them for coming. You want to follow up with them, because what you want is not to trick them, not to, you shouldn't have to convince them to come. They're going to want to be a part of this organization because they're going to hear all the amazing things that your club is doing right here at home and all around the world. And that's an awesome, awesome opportunity for you to share what Rotary is doing. I post everything on Facebook. I've gotten more people to join my club and give money to my club because I'm really active in social media. Facebook, LinkedIn, Meerkat, Periscope, Snapchat, Instagram, you name it. I'm on all of them because I'm a freelancer, and that's how I promote my business and myself. But that's also how people find out about what I'm doing. When I asked people to come to my Rotary Club as a guest, their objection was never, "I don't know anything about Rotary. I've never heard of it." Because of course they have, because I'm very involved in it. And it wasn't, "I don't think I want to be a part of that." Their objection was this: "Well, I can't be there every Tuesday morning at breakfast. I work swing shifts. I drop my kids off at school. I have this, I've got that. I can't do it every week." You don't have to do it every week. Ringing the bell for Salvation Army counts as an attendance, as a makeup, right? You guys are counting those, right? It's not about attendance. It's about engagement. Being here at a meeting is really, really important to network and to fellowship and to socialize and to plan. But what's really important is that you're giving back to your community. So if you can't be here next Thursday, you can go ring the bell for Salvation Army and get a makeup for that. And that's important. And so what I did in my club, because I didn't have anything else to do and I'm this big Rotary geek, I started a new club. And so we now have what's called a satellite club, where we meet twice a week. Just what I needed, another Rotary meeting, right? Go twice a week now. And so on Monday nights from 5:30 to 6:30, we have what we call the happiest hour in Rotary. So we have a happy hour club, no meal. We meet in a different location from our morning group, but it gives people options. People who said, "I can't be there every Tuesday morning," or "breakfast doesn't work for me, lunch I can't get away from the office," they can zip in from 5:30 to 6:30 and then go home. But it's also a great option for our members that if they miss, because they're going to be swing shifts, they're working on Tuesday morning, they could come the next week on Monday night, and it still counts as an attendance. And I think that's really important, that we recognize that sometimes we might have to do things a little bit differently than we used to do them. And that's okay. It's not your grandpa's Rotary Club, but it's also not your grandchild's Rotary Club, because it's going to change again in 20, 30 years. If we've lasted this long, we're going to keep lasting. We're going to keep on, just keep going forward all the time. But the only way we can do that is to be creative, flexible, and relevant to our communities and around the world. And so be thinking about that. Think about, what is it that your club does that sets you apart? What is it that your club can offer to make millennials or 45 and 50-year-olds want to be a part of this organization? Sometimes it's expenses. Sometimes it's the time of day. Sometimes it's, traditions that should go away, like fining people for not wearing a Rotary pin or whatever it is. There's a club that I've visited before that fines you $5 you have to pay during Happy Dollars if your picture was in the paper last week. Now, I don't know about y'all, but unless it's a mugshot, it's usually a good thing if your picture is in the paper. That means your organization is giving back to the community, or you've been recognized as a leader in your community. Why would we fine you for that? Why wouldn't we recognize you for that, right? We get into these habits of doing things. Why? Because we've always done it that way. And that's not necessarily the way we have to keep doing it. I'm always encouraged when I see young people and women and diverse groups in our Rotary clubs, because that means we are being relevant to our communities. My club grew in the 14-15 year by +10. We went from 25 to 35 members in 1 year. Now, I sponsored 7 of those, but everybody else caught on and figured out what they're supposed to do to get the right people there. This year, since July 1, we've brought in 7 new members already. Now, we've lost a few who have moved away and retired and things like that. So I think we're at +4 right now. But we're bringing in people who want to be in Rotary, and that's where we're making the difference. We're asking them before they come in if they have a heart for service, and we're telling them what's expected of them. It's not just lunch. It's not just breakfast. We want you to be involved in the community. We want you to find your passion. I'm really passionate, in case you guys hadn't noticed, about membership and social media. Those are things that I'm good at and I'm passionate about. But I'm really grateful that there are other people in my club and in your clubs and all around the world who are passionate about different things. There's a man in my club named Henry Hoffmeyer who is passionate about the Rotary Foundation. And because of him, my club is an all Paul Harris club, all sustaining member club, with a major donor and Paul Harris Society members. And we were number 2 in the district this past year for per capita giving, over $200 per person, because of Henry Hoffmeyer. All because of him, because he's passionate about the Rotary Foundation. And see, people tell me all the time, if we had 5 or 6 of you with your energy, we could grow like that too. Listen, if you had 5 or 6 of me, you'd put a straitjacket on, because I am just too much for a lot of people. And I understand that. It's okay. But you just need one. You need one who's passionate about membership, and one who's passionate about social media, and one who's passionate about the Salvation Army, and one who's passionate about athletics and scholarships and books, whatever the case may be. I am grateful that there are people who are passionate about youth and water and polio. That way I can concentrate on what I'm passionate about. So you find your passion and you make it your purpose. And that's my message to you. Find your passion and make it your purpose, because, listen, there is not a young man out there who has won the Heisman Trophy or has gotten a college scholarship or been drafted in the NFL that didn't dedicate his entire life to football, right? And there's not a young woman out there that has won the title of Miss America without dedicating her entire life to being physically fit, developing her talent, and giving back to her community. So why on earth would we consider bringing someone in to Rotary who doesn't have a heart for service and doesn't know what it means to volunteer and doesn't know the importance of giving back to your own foundation? We have to find those people who deserve to be Rotarians, because what happens, they get engaged and they stay, because it's all about retention as much as it is bringing in new people. I hate the words recruiting. I think it makes it sound like we're a multi-level marketing agency, and we're not. We are inviting people to join us. Very specific people. If you're here today as a guest, it's because somebody thinks that you have a heart for service and they want you to hear more about this organization. And I encourage you to bring more guests every week, because that's how they learn about us. Public image and being here and hearing it. real quickly before I leave, I just wanted to share with you that on your tables are my business cards and my brochures. I encourage you to take those with you. This is what I do for a living. I travel around, I do leadership training and keynote speaking and motivational talks. But I donate and I waive all of my, I waive all of my fees for public speaking anytime it's a Rotary event, anywhere in the world, because I believe it's the right thing to do. And because I can't write a big check to the Rotary Foundation and be a major donor, but I can give of my talents and time that I have. And so that's the right thing for me to do. But I do have to pay my mortgage. And so I just say that if you ever need a speaker, or if you know someone that does, or if you need someone to do some training for your boards, or teach you some social media, or leadership training, or to be a motivational speaker for a fundraiser, just keep me in mind. That's all I ask of you. Take my card and my information, pass it along to someone else if you can, and just keep me in mind if you ever need one. Because I love doing what I do. And I love the fact that I'm a professional spokesperson and a keynote speaker, and I can work one day, 1 month, and pay my mortgage, and then I can travel all around and do all this Rotary stuff the rest of the time, which is what I love to do. You're an amazing club, and you have amazing opportunities ahead of you. So I encourage you, each of you, to find your passion and make it your purpose, and make this club the best club in the district. Thank you so much for having me today.
Keepsake for you, trophy of appreciation, that was inspiring, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I think now we're ready for our raffle. And Mitzi's donated 2 tickets. And can we have 2 raffles today? Club all right with that? First ticket would be 2 tickets to her fundraiser, It's a Wonderful Life? Yes, okay, we'll do that. So the first winner is going to receive 2 tickets.
Today we have, we took in $69, we have $894 in the pot, and there are 38 cards in deck.
So this is for 2 tickets for It's a Wonderful Life, which is tomorrow night. And the winner is 203-2126. 2126. It's a Wonderful Life. It's John Rambo. All right. Thank you. 2126, you got it. And this is for a chance at our drawing. 2032110. 2110. Last 4 numbers. John.
Sitting next to each other, we were swapping them.
How about that? Okay. Here's the cards. Free lunch. We got a King of Diamonds. Thank you.
Audit that.
All right. Don't forget your coins for the Salvation Army. Jeff still needs some. How many hours you got? 2. Anyone want to sign up? Would really be helpful. Online makeup instructions are in the spoke, and I want to thank Robert Broom, our visiting Rotarian, and our guest today. Thank you so much for coming. Let's close, please, with the 4-way test. Of the things you think, say, and do,
Is it true? Is it fair?